Welcome to Traffic Radio.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
you're
you for
welcome.
having me.
Thank you. And I also have Mrs. Adejumoke Airuoyo. Okay, great. President Board of Trustees for the 2025 Fertility Conference. Yes? Okay, welcome to Traffic Radio.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
All right. So, first, let me start by asking you, should we start by trying to define what fertility is? Okay, so let's start.
Okay, so fertility or infertility, as it were, is a situation where couples cannot conceive within 12 months of continuous sexual,
intercourse. Okay, so this is not gender-based.
It's not gender-based, and it's not a blame game. Situation. So once you're married and you cannot conceive within 12 months of consistent sexual intercourse, then you begin to seek help.
Okay, so this consistency has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with maybe they have family planning in place. They don't want to start the first year. So is that put into consideration as well?
Yeah. I think some people. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So that's just to add to what she has said. It is unprotected sex.
Okay.
Because some people will protect it because they don't want to have. So this is unprotected. When couples want to have children and they have regular intercourse for 6 to 12 months and nothing comes, there's a problem of infertility.
Okay.
But when they don't want to, then they protect it by putting in contraceptives to prevent them from getting pregnant. But that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about when they actually want to have their own children and it's not forthcoming.
Okay. So, Mrs. Airuoyo. Okay. Now we have been able to define what fertility and infertility is and some of the conditions or situations surrounding it. It could be by choice.
Yes.
And it could also be the fact that, we just want to have fun, we just want to enjoy ourselves the first year. And it could be that there's a problem which is not gender related, it's not gender based, it doesn't have anything to do with the male or the female. For a lot of people who have those issues, I guess those are the people that you're here to create awareness for. So tell us what this conference is about and what you hope to achieve with this conference.
Yeah, this conference, this year's conference is the 7th. We are having.
Okay.
And what we hope to achieve is to get families wanting to have their own children to be involved, to participate, and so that they can benefit. Because basically what we share is knowledge. When such conferences is put in place, we bring in experts in the field of fertility and all round, psychologists, nutritionists, people that could actually help. Fertility doctors, we bring them together so they could educate, and then, if possible, they would help those that are present in the conference. Okay,
so I like the fact that you have a wide array of experts coming, talk about nutrition, talk about mental health, talk about a lot of things, because those are some of the issues that could pop up when it comes to couples trying to conceive. But for people who feel that, in this part of the world, there's a lot of blame game and superstition going on. Is this conference going to address things like that? For instance, you have a husband and wife, they've been married 2 years, no children. The mother-in-law comes from somewhere and says, what is happening? What is going on? Why have I not heard the tiny footsteps in the house? So is it going to address issues like that? Okay.
And I'm glad you're talking about it. Actually, in the conference, we only allow couples to come because we don't want the blame game. And it's been discovered that most of the infertility issue that families have, it's not gender-based. 40% is caused by problem with the man, 40 by the woman, and then the remaining 20, nobody knows. It happens even where there is no problem with either of the two. At times there can be delay, and then this is why we bring couples together so that they could help themselves. Because can two work together except they agree? And then knowledge is power. They are able to help. In fact, we bring in marriage counselors because there are so many homes that has been scattered because of the waiting period, and we are trusting that as many as would come,
okay,
will, and even listen, not just come in, but also listen, will be benefited and will be blessed at the end of the day.
So, Princess Dayo Odukoya, you're the visionary.
Yes.
And this is the 7th edition of the conference. How did it start? What pushed you to begin this fertility conference? Because there has to be a reason for this. It didn't just come from me. What pushed you?
Okay. So,
or as we say, what gingered you?
What gingered me? Okay, I mean, this is Para Family Foundation.
Okay.
That is the name of the foundation. And it all began in 2011.
Okay.
And before then, I had 8 years experience of waiting.
Okay.
My family waited for 8 years. And when we eventually had our child, our daughter, God gave me the inspiration to start encouraging families.
Okay.
And for us to have a structure, we have to put the foundation together with Board of Trustees. And ever since then, we've been having monthly meetings.
Okay.
And we focus on family, medical, and spiritual as well.
Okay.
Because all these three combined are major issues that has to do with infertility. And we have our monthly meetings, we have counseling sections, and then at a point we thought it can't just be within a small group. Can we just make it global?
All right.
And we started the conference since 2018.
Okay.
And this is the 7th edition we're having this month.
So far, what has the journey so far been like for you?
It's been very encouraging.
Okay.
And it's a foundation, non-governmental organization. God has been our help. And with the people, that are also joining us, collaborating with us, some hospitals also collaborated with us in getting couples, treated for infertility. And so far we have over 150 children in the foundation, including quadruplets. We have 2 quadruplets. We had one last year. We had twins. We can't even number them again. We have triplets and we have singles. So these are things that encourages us to do more and to want to create more awareness that you don't just have to keep quiet. You need to speak out so that people can know that you are going through this and you can be helped.
Okay. There is something that crops up. Well, it's been recurrent recently when it comes to couples who are trying to have children, and that is the issue of surrogacy.
Okay.
Is that something that is encouraged or addressed when you were having this conference? Because I know that there are some people who frown at it, some people encourage it, and some people feel, come see, come sir.
Okay, so when you talk about surrogacy, you talk about adoption. Those are options available for couples. Yes, there are instances where women cannot carry their pregnancy because of issues with their womb. And of course, surrogacy is all about having someone else to help you carry your baby. So I don't think there's anything wrong. And in fact, in this conference, we're going to have a specialist talking about surrogacy, an agency that will be represented. So if anybody is seeking to also go that route, yes, there are people that they can talk to. So it's an option and it's encouraged because, the Bible also says that women that are, the womb that doesn't carry children cries just like the grave. So women are all allowed to do anything possible, at least in an ethical way, to carry children. And surrogacy is actually, encouraged. And of course, there are other things that will come to play when you are going through surrogacy, the legal aspect and what have you. So all that will be, they will be educated about it.
So, Mrs. Airuoyo, for young people, probably young couples who come to the conference and they have had this issue or they've been going through it maybe for a year, or the first year of their marriage or for the second year of their marriage, all through your 7 or 6 year journey, culminating on the 7th year now, what has your experience been with encouraging or interacting with young couples as
Actually, our experience has been very, very, very fantastic. Because we have accorded good success with them. many a times when they come, like the couple that came last year, they were just about 5 years, 3 years in marriage. And to the glory of God, today they have their twins. They were actually favored because one of the fertility centers, they sponsored their procedure. And luckily, today they are parents of 2 children. So it's always better when couples start the fertility treatment is early in marriage. The mistake many of us make is that we don't put into consideration that a woman is born with the total number of eggs she needs to carry her children. And as soon as she's aging, the eggs also age. And that is why it gets to a point in the life of a woman that even when she wants to attempt the procedure, the eggs that she has had become too old. And just like also, just as the skin wrinkles, that's what happened to the eggs in the body because it's been there. But for men, they keep on producing sperm, and that's why you see a 60-year-old man, just impregnating in a young woman. So what we always advise is that they shouldn't just sit down. Like she said, that after they had waited for about 6 months, if they want to start early and nothing is forthcoming, then they begin to seek for counsel, seek for treatment. And we have always had good testimony. And the fact is that somebody is young does not mean that the reproductive organs are young. We have some young people that have challenges that they wouldn't know except they are tested, and such challenges are discovered early enough for treatment. But the truth is that there is more successes with those that come in early after marriage than the older couples, because most of especially with the woman, the organs are already aging, and this is where you begin to the doctors will advise them to use donor eggs or donor sperm, so to prevent that. And we also have a arm of this foundation. We call them the Wi-Fi. What we do is to send some of our young people, partners, to go into schools, institutions, to encourage the young ones early, so that they won't just sit down. And then there are so many things that causes this infection, causes problem that makes them not to have children when they are married, like infection, so that they just don't take some of these, pelvic infections slightly. They treat them so that it will not have problem in future years. Then we also talk about not having to go into promiscuity when they are young, because it can also damage their reproductive organs. So these are the things that we do. But in general, the truth is that there is more successes with the younger couple that come in for treatment or for advice, than the older ones. But having said that, nobody should be discouraged not to seek help. Even when we have had instances of a couple that had waited on God for 27 years, and she was over 50 by the time she had her child. That was just last year. So we have couples like that in our midst, and we have couples too that came in for advice from us, because what we do is to counsel them. We talk to them, we make them know the organs of the reproduction, what they can do, the options that are available, and how they can access it. And we also mentor them, because infertility problem is very emotional. So we stand by them, we mentor them through this process, and make them go the right routes. There are so many people out there that deceive people just to get something from them. So we guide them along the path. And in doing this, we have recorded so much successes along the line.
So do you have like a community of these successes, and then who you have young people joining them also, so this person went through it, this couple went through it, so I can aspire to look forward to having a child also, because they were okay with it and it worked for them. Do you have a community of people like that, couples assisting couples, so to speak?
Sure. We have had so many referrals. We have had people being sent to us from friends that had their own success stories. In fact, we call those that had their success stories ambassadors. So we have a platform for such people, so they mentor others. And there are so many people from churches, all over. I don't want to be mentioning names of churches here, that In fact, there was a time she went to talk to a group of women or group of families in a church. And through that church, the founder just sent some of their families for mentoring. And today, they have testimonies of what is happening or has happened to them.
So these procedures, what do they cost? What do they cost the Princess Odukoya? What do they cost? Because is it something that's affordable for maybe we'll say the average Nigerian? What does the procedure cost?
Well, let me start by saying that Para Family Foundation is not a fertility center. And when you're talking about cost, it depends on what the investigation concerning an individual couple reveals. And so you cannot say this is how much it costs to do IVF. And from center to center, they're different. So it's only the fertility centers can actually, after the investigation, can advise how much will a procedure will cost. Because some will require donor. And that will be more costlier than people that just come in with their own eggs. And, if you are doing surrogacy, for example, you have to pay the surrogate mother separate. You have to pay the hospital, fertility center separate. So, lawyer, legal is also there. So you cannot say this is how much it costs. But I remember that when it started some, years back, you can, maybe 700,000, less than $1 million. But now, we will be talking over 4 million, and so that's not cheap for an average Nigerian, especially when we don't produce anything in country. A whole lot of, almost everything is being imported. And that's a factor that also affect the costs, And just to quickly add to what she said about community, we have WhatsApp, groups of all our members. Whether you've given birth or you're still, waiting, you are in a group. As long as, you join us, you come for our meetings, we put you on a WhatsApp, and we, almost every day educate them on things, share things on the platforms. And like you said, we have what we call the Para Ambassadors, CPA, of people that already have their children. And even on Children's Day, we have guardians for our children. So we don't let them go because it's a community. And we have our children all over the world, some that have traveled and all of that. So we do have a community that caters for both, those trusting and those that already have their children.
Well, if you've just tuned in, we've been having discussions with Princess Dayo Odukoya, the visionary, and where they're here creating awareness for the 2025 Fertility Conference, and also have Mrs. Adejumoke Airuoyo. She's the President Board of Trustees for Para Family Foundation. And today it's focused on fertility, which they've explained to us that it's not gender based. It's not about whether it's the man's fault or the woman's fault, but at every point in time, they have medical team, they have dietitians, they have, everyone that has to do with getting to know your body, your system, and what is up or what is wrong or what is right, so to speak. So we have been asking questions, and they have been answering those questions with every conviction. So if you have any question you want to ask them that I haven't asked, you can call 0809-9120-777 or send a WhatsApp message now, so we can ask them those questions and you can get all of the answers that you require. And if you or your family, you fall in the category of what we're talking about today, please just make sure that you send in your questions or you put a call through so you can ask them those questions. We'll also be talking about the venue of this year's conference. So when is the conference taking place? This month, I'm sure.
Yeah, this month, Saturday the 28th June, this month. That will be next week, Saturday. At the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, and it's starting by 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay, so 10 a.m. for 10 a.m.
10 a.m. for 10 a.m. And of course, you can register through our website.
So what's the website?
www.parafamilyfoundation.com.
Okay, www.parafamilyfoundation.com. All right, so they can register via the website. Yes. Aside the fact that you have a lot of other couples coming in, what do these couples have to look forward to? You've talked about medical personnel, dietitians, counselors, and all of that. What else should they look forward to experiencing on that day?
So what we do, after the conference, is to give everyone that comes to the conference opportunity to talk to us. We give them free counseling session. And once they join our community, we begin to follow them up, begin to counsel them, and guide them, on the path or on their journey. And of course, at the conference, there's going to be an app that they will be able to, have access to guide them through. So that's a plus for as many that will come for the conference.
Okay, awesome. Any additions, Mrs. Airuoyo, any other thing you want to add to? You are the president of the Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
So what else do you have to add to all of this, at least to make people understand the importance of what you're doing?
You see, Para Family Foundation, it's a foundation that mentors families wanting to have their children. And for those who have been waiting to have their children, they would agree with me that it can be very, very challenging, especially with a woman, because most of the time, like you said at the beginning of this program, the woman is usually the
seen as the culprit.
Yes, as the culprit. Everybody looks at the woman as if so. I would just want to advise that if you are a woman and you are listening to us, or you have a woman, or a family that is wanting to have their children, this is a program that they should encourage them to come. And I would advise the woman that anything they can do to make sure their husband come with them, for that program,
yes.
They should put it in place, because we have seen the great successes that couples that work together get when they come for the program. It's that unity of purpose is very, very key. I remember there was a time we had this program. That was 2 years ago, and a family joined us. Today they have their own children. There was a time we also had a program like this, and somebody came and spoke to them in the families that were so disunited. Today, when they work together in unity, they have their own children. So we are looking forward to having them. Just don't stay back. And there's a challenge we're having. And that challenge is especially with those of us that are very religious. Any religion now. When successes come, it is God. It is not man. Like we know, except God gives a child. Nobody can give a child. Even when you try these procedures, it may not work. That the procedure work, and you have a child, all the glory goes to God. So many people come, when they give testimonies of what happened, they don't even tell them that they do any procedure. And the innocent ones just sit down and say that, see, brother so and so waited for 8 years before having a child. I'm going to wait. That is because they never spoke out. They never mentored others to know what they had gone through. So we are just praying. We are advising people to come. And then they should also speak out for those that have been beneficiaries of these procedures and they have their children. Apart, not just with para, they should speak out, tell people what they did, what God used to bait their miracles, so that others too can embrace the process of wanting to try procedures in having their own children.
Okay. All right. So finally, a telephone number people can get in touch with if they need more information or if they have further questions.
Okay, so you can get in touch with Para Family Foundation on 0802 3128 366.
Okay.
0802 3128 366.
Okay.
Or 070 1774 5460.
Okay. And your website again is Para Family
www.parafamilyfoundation.com. .com.
Okay, .com. All right. Thank you very, very much, Princess Dayo Odukoya.
Thank you for
being
us
in the studio.
Thank
and
you.
Also, Mrs. Adejumoke Airuoyo, thank you very much for being in the studio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been nice having you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, those were the voices of my guests, and they have been educating us and also creating awareness for their 2025 Fertility Conference, which comes up on Saturday, June 28, 2025. That's next week, Saturday, at Oriental Hotel. So, if you fall in the category of the people they have talked about today, please just make sure you find your way to that conference where you'll be meeting with them and other experts to help you navigate your way through the waters of fertility. And the telephone numbers 0802-312-8366 and 0701-774-5460. You could also get to their website www.parafamilyfoundation.com. My name is Dele Agadumo. Thank you for listening.